Okie dokie, Joel.
I'm
It's time for our review of Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Of course, Joel, we haven't done an actual official review in a long time. It feels kind of weird. I feel a little rusty, man.
got it. I mean, we did like a quasi one not so long ago. We just kind of free flowed talked about it. So
Yeah, well, you know what? It's okay because we won't be the only ones rusty. We got we got a certain rusty Zaku that I'm going to be talking about in a little while. Of course, for people that aren't familiar, this is going to be a full review of Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, the Netflix series that came out just last week. And of course, we'll be going through it first, just with our basic review, our basic thoughts before we get into the full spoilers. That way, for people that haven't seen it yet, you can go watch it for yourself and come back and listen to what we have to say, unfiltered, uncensored, and fully spoilered.
yes, sir.
So I'll ask you first, Joel, non-spoiler. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good entry. I like that it's canon. We already talked on text about how we felt about the visuals. I thought they handled the mobile suits well. Action was good. Very boots on the ground feel. First person, way more blood and swearing than I anticipated.
Yeah.
For sure, from a Gundam show. I mean, we've seen it before, but not like they're dropping F bombs, you know? I mean, I'm not like, oh my god, my Gundam's ruined, but I'm just like, oh, okay, we're there. I think they got the core of what Gundam is all about, and people kind of forget. It's more than just cool mecha. There is a very big message, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. But yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, when it comes to Gundam, I don't know, I'm very, I go between like super strict and very loose. And with 1 year war stuff, I already love it in general. So I went in
Right.
super biased, but I enjoyed it. I have some nitpicks, but for 6 episodes, half hour each, I think they did pretty well. What about you, Brian? What about you?
So it kind of had the same kind of conversations that we had the other day. Ones I'll go more in when we start talking about the actual show itself. I will say though, for what it's worth, I thought the voice acting, because we both watched this dubbed. I believe
Yes.
that was the default for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I think the voice cast was good.
Yeah.
It, it's hard to critique certain voice acting for Gundam because I feel like it depends on whoever the director is. It depends on how the actors pronounce Gundam words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there I did catch like a few people like mispronouncing like certain things, and I'm just like
Zaku. Zaku's.
Zaku. But it's whatever. It's been in Gundam for forever. It's gonna be in it forever. You just kind of have to take it with stride. I did appreciate how good the mobile suits looked, just kind of like visually, because this whole series was made in Unreal Engine 5. That was like the big catch for this mini series, and without spoiling it, it was fine. The mobile suit fights looked really good. I think that's where it really shines, the attention to detail in that aspect. I was complaining to you guys earlier how some of the just kind of person to person scenes kind of looked weird, or it kind of looked like they were holding back a little bit, and it kind of just felt a little like in engine, like RPG. We need to have a bunch of dialogue so the character's going to sit in one spot and just kind of talk at you with this kind of minimal like animation. Although I did feel like after a while I kind of stopped noticing it. Either I was just like super in the zone and just kind of my mind glazed over and I just forgot about it. But I think closer to nearing the end of it, like it really kind of ramps up as far as the quality goes. Yeah, but overall, I kind of gave this a good recommend for anybody that's a Gundam fan. Can't really recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen Gundam yet. I think there's other things that you should watch first
Yeah, I agree.
before watching this. But if you love Universal Century, if you just love, some good Gundam action, I feel like this has what you're looking for and just in it interesting different style.
For sure.
That's my opinion. So that, I believe, will kick us into the spoiler territory. But before we do that, Joel, I want to let everybody know at home that we are proud partners with Zenny Gaming. Zenny Gaming is the rising star of the video game eyewear craze. We've been having our Zenny frames for a good long time now. They are just very good, very classy, very stylish. And of course, I love my blue light, my true blue blue light filters with the purple tint. Very cool. And of course, for everybody out there watching right now, if you click our affiliate link, either down below or in the description, you will not only start your journey into getting the best in gaming glasses and regular glasses too, because they got sunglasses, they've got reading glasses. That's, by the way, full prescriptions they will do for you. If you click that link right now, not only will you get started on your glasses journey, but you'll also be helping us here at United We Nerd when you make your purchase. And right now, Zenny is having their spooky savings. From now until October 27th, you can buy one, get one 25% off on additional pair of glasses over $10 by using the promo code SPOOKY24. And if you're in luck, if you're a Zenny Rewards member, you get 25% off on any Fanatics purchase that you make. And don't worry, for anybody that's not a rewards member, you can still get that same discount at Fanatics by using the promo code FAN24. I know I could be using that right now to get some fucking WWE merch, my friend.
Oh,
Give me a White 6 t-shirt that I've been wanting for a while. But yes, take it from us. We've been so happy with our partnership with Zenny. They make really, really cool stuff, and I guarantee you will find the perfect frames for you. So go check out Zenny Gaming right now in the description down below and get to gaming. All right, Joel. It is time to enter the spoiler zone. You have been warned. From this point forward, there will be spoilers galore. So, Joel,
Ryan.
tell me why, after the GM showed up, it made me appreciate the Gundam more.
I think because we see the power of the gym or GM, and it's of course not comparable to the Gundam, only in like its scary in appearance, but it's skeletal, it's even weaker, right? And there was a lot of how do I put, not like backlash, but a lot of apprehension to this Gundam before we even saw it in action.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't know the context it was dropped. It's definitely a Gundam that was dropped in. It's like a horror, a slasher. I think that's what I told you guys. Like, it's, you're on the perspective of this enemy force, and you're just watching this thing tear your team apart. It's fucking scary. And I think the Gundam doesn't look great, but I think in this setting, in this context, it fits that bill perfectly. and
Yeah,
gyms are like weak by comparison, or GMs. They're like, no, I'm not scared of that thing. Fuck that. You know?
they did a really good job of framing the Gundam to be, like you said, like a horror movie villain. Like its
Yeah.
introduction, just like this big cloud of smoke. It's just like in the dead of night, it just kind of like appears like fucking Godzilla from the 50s, just like kind of
Yeah.
coming up on the Xeon base. I wanna appreciate the opening of the series. You know, we are introduced to the main character. It was Ira Solar. She is the captain of the Red Wolves.
Area
A
Solari. But yes,
It was a Solari. A Solari. I'm sorry, I
I
can't
got you.
read. I can't
I got
read. Everybody out there,
this Gundam nerd won't let him do that.
Solari.
I got you, everyone else. I got you.
Hey, in the world of Gundam names, like you can't blame me for mispronouncing them because they are just so fucking weird.
He is not wrong.
I am not wrong.
He is not fucking wrong.
But we're introduced to Captain Solari and the Red Wolves, a elite group of Zaku pilots that get airdropped into a brutal war zone.
It is
You're
fucking brutal. Holy shit.
you're mentioning before, like they did not hold back on like showing you like the grotesqueness of war, and on the ground level too. I was really surprised. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting so much ground warfare in this show.
Yeah. Just seeing those tanks, like a lot of tank warfare, which was in the other series Igloo, which I haven't watched, but I've seen clips. It's like the tanks are kicking ass. They're fighting mobile suits. They're running people over. They're shooting people. It's what we see, tanks running over other tanks, knocking them over. It was great. But yeah, we see blood spray. We see fuckers getting mown down by tanks. Even anti-air guns playing a role, which we usually don't see, honestly. And I was telling Marcel, like, before you finished, Brian, like the Flyboys, ooh, seeing those pilots go at it. I was like, usually we don't get to see good airtime, but I was like, they look good.
Yeah,
They were smashing tanks, trying to fight mobile suits. We were like, yeah, there's the Gundam, but did you forget there's fucking people dying left and right, like on the ground? It's wild.
yeah. We even saw some good Wasp pilots.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Which ones?
The jets, the Xeon jets, or are those
I forgot
Dobbs?
what. Doms. I think they're Doms. I forgot. Dops. No, I don't
Dobbs.
remember. Take my Gundam lore card. Fuck, I forgot.
Dobbs. Okay. Oh, I think what got me confused is they were their code names were Wasps, like Wasp 1, Wasp 2. But yeah,
Okay.
the jets were Dobbs. So
Okay.
it was actually really
Keep
cool
my
to
card back.
see more of the non-mobile suit like artillery and like weaponry that they have,
Yeah.
because those are like background things and everything else, because they're minuscule and small doesn't matter. But seeing those like in tandem with when the Zaku's do show up and just kind of take control of the battlefield at that point, and it's just like so reminiscent of kind of the early, because there's some material in Gundam that shows kind of like the early years of the war. And I believe this was the 11th month of the 1 year war. So this was like
Yeah, they like
right.
end on Christmas or New Year's or something like that. Like they're like they've been at it.
And like they're just now kind of getting a sense of like the nearing the end of this war, because we have the group of Zaku's, clear out the way. They reclaim their base and stuff like that, and like they get settled in. But then all of a sudden, in the fog of night, the dreaded Gundam comes out, and oh my god, just destroys everything. Devastation.
Double taps like a motherfucker too. There is no mercy. That Gundam is fucking scary. Smashing cockpits in, slicing tanks. I think this is the most brutal we've seen a Gundam, like with ground forces and artillery too. Like no mercy for foot soldiers, tanks, aircraft. Zaku's like, fuck you. Like, I don't, you're dead. I see you. You're fucking dead. It's scary.
Hmm.
Yeah, V-fin be damned. That antenna, seeing that fucking face. Oh god.
Yeah, and just like it actually, that scene, the first scene of it showing up, like reminded me so much of the intro to Journey to Jaburo. We kind of talked about this recently.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite things, but it's like in Journey to Jaburo, like the intro to like just the game itself before the main menu is just the scene of these Zaku pilots just kind of like in a city, kind of like patrolling around, and all of a sudden the Gundam just comes out of nowhere and beats the shit out of everybody.
Hmm.
It's and just like the the way that they made the Gundam kind of act in this show, where it's like it's just taking out things with ease, and then it kind of dips and dives and kind of just like jets along so
Yeah.
like easily compared. Because the one thing I do like about the show is that they made the Zaku's like very not stiff, but they have this kind of like, you know, blockiness to them where they
They
don't,
got oomph.
they
Got
got
movement.
oomph. And of course, in the show, we kind of find out that Captain Solari is in fact a new type. So
Yeah.
she starts getting the new type tingle,
Yeah.
and she kind of, I would say she like pilots pretty good, but like over time she gets progressively better. But she does get her ass kicked a lot in the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. She is surviving. She is not winning. She is I wouldn't even say she's fighting. She's surviving, honestly. She the most a lot of the fights it's like we made it out. It's not even about killing. It's about like getting out and being I feel like this is the first time we really see Xeon like kind of passively. It's like we are just trying to make it out. We're not even trying to at least Area Solari's crew. I'll say that there's some other who are very antagonistic, but for sure, like it feels like, oh damn, like how do you fucking stop this like walking nuke? You know what I mean? Like crazy.
Oh yeah, like I forget, there was a certain part of like the one of the episodes where they are on the run. They're trying to, find a bait, and it's like I cannot tell you like how much it seemed like that Gundam was just having the time of its life,
Oh
beating the
god, it
shit out
was.
of everybody. Like they're trying to like escape from their base, and like the Gundam is just going from one mobile suit to the other to like tanks and stuff, just like having a ball, beating the shit out of everybody. Like it has its beam rifle, it has three fucking beam sabers, and it's like mounted Gatling gun, and it's just having a fucking blast.
And a
Holy
shield that looks strange that still fucking blocks really well. I was like, that thing's gonna fall apart. No,
It
that
gets
thing
damaged
blew
a little
apart.
bit at one point, but it doesn't stop them at all.
Nope.
What do you think about the group of people that we kind of form up into like the group of the show? What are your opinions on them?
It's interesting because she has her crew, and then she has this like people she picks up along the way who are specialists, right? And they're really good at just also being survivors and playing their part when they need to. I think that it works for the story. It moves it along. Um, I think having four really good Zaku pilots, it would have done work on the Gundam if they were coordinated. Of course, the Gundam comes out of nowhere, sneak attacks, destroys, and they don't know the power it has because the Gundam is like a myth, right? But they don't really know the power of a Gundam until they see one. Um, I think her crew is good. Um, I just it sucks. I think because like you want to see more mobile suit actions, but again we're getting more boots on the ground stuff. But it works because they're in this like theater of war in Romania. They're like escaping, and they're not going gung ho, but they know everyone in this group knows like this is a war zone. We have to do what it takes to survive. And I want to actually where do you go? We have oh
I'm here.
Sammy,
I'm
you're there.
back.
Um,
My camera froze. I'm
um,
back.
I want to segue into like we kind of don't see, at least for me, I don't remember, we don't really see it too much, but there's like a medic character who's literally there to help whoever. Like if a
Hmm.
Federation soldier's bleeding out, he's helping him. If there's a Xeon soldier, he's bleeding out. Usually we kind of, it's very like Xeon or Federation. We don't really have a like a true in between with good intent, I should say. There's definitely in between with
Yeah.
bad intent.
I
Um,
believe the
so
character's name is Oni Kasuga
yeah,
of
Oni
the
Kasuga. I just think
UMRC.
yeah, it's interesting we get those medics, and I for there was even this instant where he was like they transition really weird. He like looks kind of back like sinisterly. I was like, oh shit, is he reporting to the Federation? No, never. It was just a weird cut, but yeah, it was cool to see that perspective. I
A
think.
very lacking amount of betrayal in this. I was assuming somebody was going to betray somebody.
No, it's straight up like surviving. But yeah, and then I thought it was even interesting in the first episode, we have medics and they're not being fired upon. Like despite the horrors of war, everyone knows like don't fuck with the medics. Like they're literally there to patch you up and it's like a war crime. I mean, they're already fucking killing people, but it's like, like Solari makes a choice. She sees medics, she knows not to engage with them. So it's just interesting seeing that
Hmm.
from like Gundam. So I think that was interesting. All the rest of the characters, I feel like they were kind of like plot devices as well, but I think they still work and
Kind of.
they do round out Solari.
Because, what was it? I remember Alfie. I think Alfie was like the mechanic.
Yeah, yeah,
He was really fun. I enjoyed him as a character. He had that night. He was like the one that was just he was the voice of reason for Solari, and also kind of like the more uplifting like
yeah.
member of the group who kind of always kind of kept a positive outlook on things. There was I'm trying to remember because there's Joshua. Was that the tattooed girl?
Oh, that was Haley.
Haley.
Or
Yeah, she kind of seemed like a half baked character.
I feel like she had a lot to prove, but she's also like she knows her job. Like she straight up ices some Federation soldiers, and there's even the doctor's like, "It's my job to protect." It's like, "Well, we're at war, doctor. Sorry." Like, and what's he gonna do? He can't. He clearly can't heal dead people, right? I mean, he's like they could have surrendered. It's his job to protect people, right? And he's caught in the middle. That I think that was a good moment. But yeah, later she's kind of like she's just there as
There.
security. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I I'm
You
not
would
trying to
you
defend
know
it.
what you know what
It's like
I said
tracks
the
so much wrong, maybe.
you know what I said when she first kind of showed up is like, man, she looks like the player character because she does not look like anybody else. Like
I
pink
mean,
hair,
not really.
no, like septum piercings, tattoos all over the place. She looks like a created character, and she
Yeah.
had the importance of a created character in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool to see another pink-haired warrior and hella
Yeah,
tattoos. I mean, in the other Gundam thing I own, Bandit Flower, there's a gun cannon pilot. She's hella tatted up, so that was kind of cool. And she's like a Zaku tattoo and stuff. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, I
I just wish
think
there was more. You
we
know.
should have gotten more, but at the same time, I think it's probably like a balance. Like, do we give her more, but take away from Solari's story? But yeah, I know what you're
Mm,
saying. I feel like there's potential, but I mean, there's more we could say about Solari's story when we get there too. But yeah,
yeah.
what do you think
Um,
about the other characters, man?
I mean, you know they're fine. I didn't mind them. Of course, throughout the series, like more and more people from like the like we lost like what 3 members of the Red Wolf Squadron, or like
By the end, yeah,
by the
um,
end. But
yeah,
we
and her, she's like mentoring LaShawn, who is the hothead, and will pay for it later. But I think it's a show literally about vengeance, right? And he lets the vengeance get to him, and you know he knows what he's there to be there for his captain, but I think he doesn't know what's going to literally cost him like everything in the end. And
True.
yeah, and then we are also LaShawn at the same time. We're learning more about the captain as we're going on this adventure. Like Alfie talks about her husband, what she used to do, and like LaShawn's learning along the way. So in a way, we're kind of like the same person.
Yeah, that's fair. I was a little surprised because we got kind of a cameo character
We did.
halfway through. We got Yuri Kellner from or
Ate the mess
Kelleran,
team.
Yuri Kelleran from you. Yeah, they made him look too pretty
Oh yeah,
for the
he's
type
more
of body he
grizzly
has.
Wolverine looking in Nate the Mets team. But
It's
that's the whole thing of that.
it's
But
so weird because like they kept like the Wolverine esque hair.
yeah, they did.
He kind of had like a built body,
Yeah.
like a square body, but then he just had such a pretty face.
Yes.
It did not look right.
War didn't phase him
Or
at all.
didn't change him at all.
Yeah, it made him better. But yeah,
But that was
that was cool. Nice little connection to the greater universe.
yeah, and from them, uh, Yuri gave them the secret mission to go try to take one of the GMs for themselves.
Yeah.
And we get to kind of meet, quote unquote, the true like Earth Federation pilot, which of course is a fucking kid.
Child soldiers, yay!
Child soldiers. So let's just talk about it. So the whole plot of this show is that it's nearing the last year of the 1 year war. Our main character, Captain Solari, has a son back at the Principality. Husband died because he was also in the war. And the whole point was that they're going to try to survive and make it off planet so they can, go back to their lives, go back to their families. And that was the whole point of the show, right?
Survive.
Survive. And, like I was saying, Solari is a new type. So more and more she starts kind of getting more in tune with the, new typeness. And what do we find? The child soldier is also a new type. And so
Classic Gundam.
plus a Gundam. I don't know. The ending to me was kind of why? Because like the whole point was like she wanted to escape. And it felt like they kind of had to do the whole, oh, she's a new type, so now she kind of has to do like the greater than thou kind of mission. Because like she stays behind as her team is getting to like one of the last shuttles that in Odessa that's supposed to leave to retreat back to the Principality, right?
Yeah.
And instead of, finding a way to get back, of course, they have this whole new type battle of the mines and having the kid, unfortunately die because of another soldier that, attacks from behind. But she all of a sudden is like, I'm going to stay on Earth and live in Africa so I can help all the children, all the children of war.
I'm gonna fight as long as we have to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of like that was sudden.
Yeah. I feel like something got lost at the end for sure. I was like, okay, she stayed behind, oh shit, she has to fight. And it's like, wait, she doesn't want to go back and see her son after wanting to see her son. Like, I get like meaning to fight to protect, but like, I don't know, it wasn't conveyed right. Like, I don't know, something.
It went
Something
from
didn't hit it.
like it went from like, we lost the war, just let us go home, and then to like, oh no, that one kid died, I need to defend all the children.
Yeah, it was very Catcher in the Rye.
A little
Um,
bit.
yeah, I like the reference to remnants in Africa. That's in Stardust Memory, so that's really cool. But yeah,
I
it's
didn't catch that actually. That's,
yeah. She said the remnants in Africa. That I think they go to Africa. Maybe it's
no,
Australia. I don't know.
they go to Africa at the end.
Yeah, but for they go to space. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it was like a translation thing or that's what they wanted. It ended kind of funky. If it was a way of saying like Solari's story isn't done, I don't think that
No.
was it. Um, there's definitely more to be explored, I think. Of course, it's a big universe. It's like very MCU now and Star Wars. Let's explore 0081 where Solari was fighting the secret tank unit of Super Gun Tank. I'm sure they could do that, right? But I think if they wanted us to be excited for future content, I think that last sentence it should have been something else. It
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's like I'm going to continue fighting, because I've lost so much and I want my son to live. I know it's easy for me to say, armchair writing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it just something. It just
It
didn't
just
flow right. It like I
it
get it, but I don't think that's what they wanted. I don't know.
it it left it left me as like a huh at
Yeah,
the end.
right. Like it wasn't even like they didn't play the winner like the Stardust Memory like theme. I mean, that would have been inappropriate as fuck. There was a super bad ending with like the kid dying, but imagine just be all upbeat and shit. But yeah, I was it you or someone saying like it should have ended right when she was kneeling down, or I saw online like as soon as she kneeled down and saw that like Gundam
Oh,
kid
wasn't me.
died, it would have been. I'm like, oh, that would have been like fuck, like oh my god, like that's the reality. Like child soldier dies in war. Like no, kid shouldn't be fighting. War is bad. Perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
but I think
I agree.
I think maybe they should have saved that scene and like tease us like I'm gonna keep fighting, right? And it's like boom, the Red Wolves will return or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Or like at
It's
least to have it make a little bit more sense instead of just
yeah,
being like, oh, I was trying to save this child because new type link, and we were getting there, and then war is war.
yeah,
Now I need to do my new type mission and stop
yeah,
war.
yeah. I think they were afraid to say like vengeance will drive me to keep fighting. Like I think that they didn't want to like say the Requiem for vengeance. They were just like, it's I don't know.
So
It's almost
actually,
she's a mother to me. It was that. It was that a little Shar's counterattack
for
weirdness. Just a little.
now that I'm thinking about it, for a show that's called Requiem for Vengeance, the main character kind of doesn't want to do vengeance.
No,
It's more
she
like
wants
she's
to
trying to
survive.
stop other people from doing vengeance. Because what was it? Like she like stuck to her mission, and she stuck to she was the captain. She had to be the leader of her group.
Yeah,
She had to do what she was ordered to do,
yeah,
and it felt like the other people around her were like really like in it for the fucking fight. Like what's his face? LaShawn
yeah,
in the scene where he was like chasing after that GM pilot,
yeah, yeah.
and she was like, "No, stop." And it's like, to me, she didn't seem like she was doing anything out of vengeance. She was more so just doing things out of duty and trying to get home. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering what the idea is supposed to be for the is it supposed to be like, oh, like vengeance is just like the whole reason that we're in this mess is because, we wanted like we, as in like the people of Xeon, wanted revenge for being treated like shit,
Yeah.
like by the Earth Federation, and then this is like what we got out of vengeance. It's I felt like they probably could have titled this show something different.
I'm
Now
looking
that I'm
at
thinking about it,
the definition of requiem. It is like, a word for rest. It's a musical composition, and she is a violinist. But yeah, like her
fair.
concert for vengeance, her rest for vengeance. I mean, she does like a rest for vengeance, and she's driven at the end, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good watch. I just think like, yeah, the journey was good. The ending was a little strange. It was
Hmm.
again like Shark's Counterattack. It was like what? Huh?
I feel like maybe they could have done with maybe having one more interaction with her and the Gundam pilot before the ending.
I can see
Because
that.
they had the really cool scene where it's like she almost gets caught at the Federation base when she drops the pocket watch that she kept as a memento,
Yeah.
and he picks it, and the kid picks it up, and it's like I know who you are. I'm not gonna say anything, but I know who you are. I felt like maybe they could
Classic
have had.
Gundam.
I feel like they could have had one more interaction,
Yeah.
like with them talking before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
before the last fight.
Yeah. I wonder if there was another scene or was cut or maybe for time. Yeah, it's a little more. But at the same time, like I think it does kind of work because like she's like, I literally just want to get home. I have a kid, and and then he buys it, I think, because he is a kid. He's just made to be a killing machine, doesn't realize. But then of course, it's they're at war. He's taken advantage of. The fucking other Xeon pilot is vengeful, and it's like, fuck this guy. He doesn't know it's a kid, right? Or if he does, he doesn't care. Fucking guts the
Hey
Gundam. I'm
man,
like, yeah,
good
now,
on him. He gets the fucking accolade of killing a fucking Gundam. Good on
yeah,
him.
he's got like 50 Xeon Iron Crosses for that one, I'm sure. But yeah, I think another interaction would have helped, but I think, at least for me, I think it sticks only because of the result and what truly is like the result of like, is anyone safe? No, war is bad.
Oh,
Like no one is ever safe.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I mean, yeah. Like overall, I still think it's a good show that should be watched. I wanted to point out something that I noticed. Just like fun little facts. I noticed one of the first scenes with a Gundam in it, as the camera's like behind the Gundam, that I realized that it's using a gun cannon beam rifle.
sort of. Yeah, it's like a reduced, like it has the same kind of scope and layout as the gun cannons. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of neat because it's very much showing how the other Federation is like really just trying to rush to make more of these things. So now
Oh
they're
yeah,
just
they
kind
are.
of giving them anything that they can give them to like put on the edge, which I love. I love how they showed the effectiveness of the Earth Federation getting beam like
Oh
weapon
yeah, it's
technology
fucking
before Xeon.
devastating. It's destructive as fuck.
And like you show like just shooting through like Zaku's, but then also they did a good job of like having Solari like look and see the devastation that leads behind, because like the beam rifle shots don't just finish, they keep going. So you just see
Uh-huh.
this whole streak of just like destruction that it just leaves as it's being like shot through. I thought that was a really good touch. I'm a little bit more okay with how the promotional stuff for the Zaku was, now knowing that it is literally a piece of junk
Yeah,
built
they literally kit bash that thing, literally.
and surprisingly does better than the actual like well put together Zaku's, which is kind of
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, I just like that they kept putting on those like little bit of touches every now and again just to kind of show off. And the the fight choreography I thought was really good. They
Yeah, we got some like with mobile suit to mobile suit with car, tank, plane. We got a lot of different battles on different levels, and I agree. They choreographed it really well. Even in the beginning, I was like, oh, these Zaku's move with oomph, and they're firing, and they're kicking tanks and shit. Gundam is kicking a Zaku. It was like within the realm of what Gundams are supposed to do and mobiles are supposed to do, but also like believable, but still like has some flair. I think
Mhm.
they nailed it for sure. And the Gaufs, oh man, they made them look fucking great.
Bro, those things were sick as fuck.
The Zaku's look good, but I'm like, man, fuck, I'm the Gaufs can like, I just put me in one, man.
I'm
Like
I'm
that shit's always sick.
I'm so glad they used the 8th MS team versions with like
Oh yeah,
the shield Gatling gun.
yeah, the special versions or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That was a good choice. I really like that. What were they called? Like the
yeah.
Midnights?
They're the Midnighters, I think.
The
The special,
Midnighters.
yeah, they're a couple Gauf specialists.
They were like the Hua
Yeah,
Galf pilots. I
yeah.
appreciated them.
One nitpick I have.
Okay.
But I understand why. They didn't really use like the classic Gundam gun noises, beam rifle noises, Zaku machine gun noises, even the stepping. The sound mixing was different, but it works. I'm just saying, as like a 1 Year War fucking apologist and lover of the fucking 1 Year War, we didn't really get those sound effects or new type effects too much. So I'm just surprised. Like it's a choice, right? Like to not
Hmm.
have the Zaku sounding machine gun or the pew, the classic Gundam beam rifle sound. Um, but on the flip side, like they mix the sound really fucking good and loud
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like that machine gun, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's not a Zaku machine gun sound. But also like, oh fuck, it's like gong gong gong, like oh shit, like that shit. Like you feel like you're like boom boom, yeah, it's like oomph. Again, the oomph is there.
I even appreciate like the reloading sounds it made because like they took the time to really make this feel like conflict because they'll be like ducking for cover and then like you'd be hearing like the loud as it's taking off the drum
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
machine gun and like putting on a new one, or just kind of like the I don't know. For me, I kind of like the like how much they wanted to like emphasize like these are big hunking metal
Oh yeah.
death machines, and like you can hear like the clankings and like the scrapings
Yeah.
and all of like the joints just kind of like moving as they're
Yeah.
like fighting each other. So yeah,
You,
sound
you
mixing plus.
yeah, you mentioned it too. Like we don't really see it too often, but taking cover, they really emphasize taking cover and hiding. And I just thought that was cool. That really made it feel like, yeah, we're soldiers, we're fighting. Not I feel like in Gundam, yeah, there's like I said before, a lot of flair and movement and like very fancy, we're avoiding shots. And I was like, no, I need to hide. This fucker's gonna kill me, it use of the terrain and shit.
We will get one shotted right away. Fuck
Yeah.
you. We're
It,
hiding.
they're smart, methodical. It's smart.
Oh fuck. One of the coolest things I thought, the melee combat, actually having them like do like actual like sword fight, I thought was so cool. Just like the way that they're able to show off the not only when they were actually doing like saber to saber combat, but like
Yeah.
when there's like the what was it called, the heat hawk, like the
Yeah.
heat tomahawk, and like actually being able to use it in actual like melee combat, like doing blocks and like strikes, and actually like going at like a good old a sword fight. I thought that was really sick.
They
Also,
choreographed it really well and believably too. And I don't know if you noticed that while they were escaping in the Zaku tank, this one Zaku was holding his own against the Gundam for a good minute. I was like, oh, that guy's my
yeah,
hero. he's about to get fucking iced. That guy's my hero though. Holding it like, oh, like he's gonna give it his all, even though he's about to be fucking obliterated in like 3 seconds.
I also like the nice touch of the Gundam's beam saber, where it's like at the very bottom of it has like this kind of bluish tint to it, and then
Oh, it's like
as
super
it
hot, yeah.
as it like rises, it like turns into like that like pinkish purple
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we know of. It's just like those tiny little details
Yeah.
I think are good. I do kind of agree that the weird shoulders, like the kind of like bare shoulders that they gave it were kind of hit or miss.
I mean,
But oh,
they had to crank him out fast, like you said. It's like he's not getting the
that's true.
shoulders.
That's
But I
true.
mean, think because I was thinking about it as we were talking. Like I think he was more bare to be more maneuverable too. I really felt like this Gundam was way more maneuverable than Grandpa. Grandpa had more armor though. You know what I mean? Like this guy, it felt skeletal, but in a scary way. But also like because he was jumping a lot and
Yeah.
like moving, and it was. I feel like they made up for it with speed.
James in the chat asks, unbiased opinion, do you think a non-Gundam fan would like this?
Um,
Say without showing bias. I don't think it's
no.
It's hard.
I mean, we just spoiled a lot of it for you. I think you should check it out because you have the semi knowledge. Just because it's a good war movie, there's some. I mean, you already heard some shock value moments, but I mean, to see it still, um, I mean, you could. I feel like this is also a gateway show. They put on Netflix specifically also to like lead into like so like oh I watched this. Let me check out the other ones because they just put the full show now on Netflix. Um,
It's kind of like a back and forth. Like
yeah.
you can watch it and you'll get. See, I think the benefit of the time and place they put this in for somebody that doesn't know enough about Gundam or hasn't watched Gundam at all, it might be fine just because the characters themselves are also learning about the thing that's attacking him at the same time. So it's not like, oh, you should already know everything about this thing. We've been fighting this thing for so long.
That's
It's like,
true.
no, they're seeing this thing for the first time. So it's just like a holy shit. Some of the terminology might
There's
trip
a lot.
you up a little bit, but then I think for something like that is just kind of something you have to just like go full like head first into, because any Gundam series is going to be like that, where you're going to have to learn some words and understand what they mean.
Or you're
But
just like, okay, this is a Zaku, it's established, and that's it. Like, we're moving on. Like, they literally, like, hey, yeah, the DOPs are coming in. What the fuck is a DOP? Boom, okay, moving on. Like, it's.
yeah. Uh, earlier I was kind of thinking, earlier I said that it might not be. Now that we've been talking about it, it might not be too bad because it's isolated. It doesn't have much to do with anything. So it's like you don't need to have prior knowledge. And they give you like enough information. It's like, hey, this is a war. This is like the 11th month of the 1 year war. And, you know, this small little instance in time is what we're showing you. So maybe it's like 6 episodes. Each episode's like a half an hour. So it's like if you have like 3 hours or you break it up like an hour a day, it's not a bad watch.
No, it's not.
No.
I think it's just you have a better appreciation having some of that knowledge. I mean, it's not like, again, it's such a. You're kind of like I said earlier, you're like one of the pilots. You're kind of learning along the way, like Brian was kind of explaining. I think like if you don't know about like these nitpicky sounds I was talking about, you're gonna enjoy it. It's just me, I'm being particular like about the creative decision, but it still works.
Yeah. You know what? I say watch it, form your own opinion, and if you really dig the aesthetics of this show, I'd highly recommend going to watch 8th MS Team.
I agree.
They are very similar in kind of style and like theming. It's like very much grounded warfare.
boots on the ground, first person, working as a team, making your choice about what's going to happen in this war, for better or for worse.
Yeah. So yeah, I say go watch it. Why not?
Only 3 hours.
Only 3 hours. Yeah.
It still gets the main message of all Gundams in 3 hours. So
Yeah. And if anything, you'll get cool robot fights out of it. Which who doesn't
yes,
like a
you
good robot
will.
fight?
Honestly, I think the best way to watch it, not so much a mecha anime, watch it like a war horror story, and I think you'll enjoy it. Think about it like that.
There you go. Okay, well, have any final thoughts about Gundam Requiem for Vengeance?
Um, me, I can't get enough of the fucking UC timeline, so I'm down if they do more. I just, yeah, the ending, it's like contrary to everything she's been doing, but I guess that's just war changes people. I don't know. I'm sure people will hear from the writers or something soon. We'll love to see what they do with her story next, if anything. If not, that's okay. Even a snippet of like she joins the Titans, or she joins the AU. Who knows? She makes it to Neo Zeon's last stand at Torrington Base. I don't know. I like knowing that stuff, but I think it's good. If you're a Gundam fan, definitely got to check it out. If you're new to Gundam, I think it is good. If you know anything about Gundam, it's an interesting war story, a good place to start. And it kind of shows you the weird stuff Gundam does too at the same time. Like, what? it literally, I think it literally encapsulates what Gundam does. Everything about it. But more swearing and blood than
More
than
swearing
needed.
blood.
A lot more swearing.
For sure.
Hey, Brian, what's your verdict?
I say, you know, it is a decent war story for people that are very much fans of the UC timeline, especially the 1 year war. Is a must watch just to kind of get more of that era. What can I say? Ben in the chat says robot fights sell it.
Yep.
The good robot fights.
It's mecha, excuse me.
Excuse me, Snicker.
Mecha, they
Oh,
pilot
no.
robots aren't your pilots, excuse
Oh,
me.
well, I should get rid of all these Gundam figures. Throw away my Mecha fan card. Oh no. All right. Well, that has been our review of Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. We appreciate people watching this, especially people that are watching this in the YouTube realm. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, or let us know if there were any other Gundam series that you would rather watch than this show. Let us know. And, we are Gundam.
Gun plus freedom.
Gun plus freedom.